Right now, there's an all-out battle in northern Minnesota against destructive wildfires that are gaining strength. At this hour, thousands of acres have already burned, along with dozens of buildings, and nearly 200 people have been forced out of their homes. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julie Nelson. State leaders call the wildfire situation playing out right now unprecedented. Firefighters, the National Guard, and the U.S. Forest Service are all on the ground and in the air as we speak, working to contain the flames driven by our dry and windy conditions. Take a look at where the largest active fires are right now, St. Louis and Lake counties. The Jenkins Creek and Camp House fires are burning very close to one another, north of two harbors. And starting tomorrow, they'll be coordinated as a single entity called the Brimson Complex Fire. We checked just before the newscast, and together the fires have scorched about 19,000 acres, which is about the size of the city of Shakopee. Jennifer Hoff spent the day with fire crews and begins our team coverage live from two harbors. Jennifer?
Julie, we're here at the fire hall because this is where Incident Command is staging. So we're just south of those fire lines where most of the roads are closed. And you threw out a lot of information there at the beginning of the newscast. And remember, all of that happening just since the first fire broke out on Sunday. So a lot has happened since then. And just in the last hour, we've confirmed from the sheriff that the number of structures, cabins, and homes destroyed has jumped from about 40 to now 140. And that, as you can imagine, has a lot of people feeling quite emotional and really not getting much relief until maybe Thursday when some rain is expected.
Just took off.
Fire season in Minnesota coming early and fast.
This heat is just awful.
Sparking several that exploded overnight in size.
When the governor calls in the, National Guard and everything, it just, it's bigger than what you're seeing.
Kate Maher making sure everyone on scene has the right supplies.
12 cases of water.
As dozens of structures have already burned down.
I know they would be there for me if it was further down the road and stuff.
Fire officials closing roads and evacuating nearly 200 people since the fires first broke out the last 2 days, totaling more than 20,000 acres in conditions they're calling unprecedented.
It was bound to happen. It was just too hot, too dry, too much wind.
Jeff Conklin isn't sure his home is safe. Making him more upset is likely having to leave his dogs behind.
Might have to deal with Red Cross and put these guys in a temporary shelter until we get access to go back into the house. But they don't understand it.
There are dozens of first responders trying to keep everyone safe, even though it could be a number of days before they really get a handle on things.
It is stressful. It's a high stress dynamic environment, and I just wanted to say support has been outstanding.
And we know that the weather here is not helping, but it's also those downed and dead trees that are literally fueling these fires. So many of them are diseased from the spruce budworm. It's kind of like the emerald ash borer that we deal with more down in the metro. So again, that's not helping the situation and only adding to the fact that there is no containment, Julie, tonight on any of those fires and no confirmed causes either. But certainly a story that we'll stay up here and continue to follow. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
We don't wish to see anything happen, not just to us, but to our neighbors as well. So we just pray and keep them in our hearts.
That was Michael Christensen speaking, who lives on Cadott Lake. He's just one more of those forced to evacuate in the path of the Brimson Complex fire. Like many, his family will spend the next few days watching and waiting. Here in the metro, Governor Walz emphasized that this battle is far from over.
Minnesota experiences a little over 1,100 fires a year. We've already had 970. These are dangerous fires that are still moving, still threatening.
Well, state leaders say in a typical year, about 12,000 acres are burned by wildfires in Minnesota. So far this year, about 37,000 acres have burned. That's 3 times the average. Well, because of the conditions triggering a red flag alert for dozens of Minnesota counties, a weather impact alert is in place until 9 tonight. Let's check in with Belle. Belle?
Well, Julie, it's such a beautiful part of the state. It's a place where people live, where people recreate. The campfires or the campgrounds. So many people affected before the summer season. And so we will continue watching this very closely. We have, as you mentioned, the red flag warning out for 63 counties until 9 o'clock. The dew points have come up in the Twin Cities. You probably noticed the humidity levels, and that did help the situation here in the metro because it was as warm as yesterday and as windy as yesterday. I want to show you this. This is the smoke forecast for tomorrow. You can see that all the fires there to the north and a few up near Winnipeg. and the winds do shift to the east. And that is with the rain that will eventually come in on Thursday evening. Right now it is 86 in the metro, 84 in Grand Rapids, 90 in Wilmer, and 88, as you can see there, in Alexandria. Along with that, we have these very strong southeast winds. Now they're kind of starting to veer southeast as we do have that rain coming in, as I mentioned, on Thursday. Dew point now at 54. That's a huge difference. It was down in the upper 20s, and it is starting to rise to the north, so that will help them. And when you take a look at the next 12 hours, you can see we have temperatures still at 80 degrees at 9 p.m. We're going to say goodbye to the 80s after tomorrow and hello to the 60s once again. We'll talk about that and that storm on Thursday in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Belle.